The return of investment for training is hard to measure, but I believe that the ROI calculation for training and development should entail results in financial gain for the organization, workforce retention, and of course customer satisfaction. Research from Towards Maturity in the UK, for example, shows that companies who provide more training are likely to be more successful and more profitable than companies who don't provide training. The same research suggests that companies with a high volume of training have a lower turnover rate than companies who don't provide training. Calculation for ROI on communication skills may be even less obvious, but there's lots of indications that communication skills actually land you a better job. In America, it's a premium of 1.5% on salaries if you speak Spanish and English well enough. And in China, for example, we see that you get about a 50% better paid job if you speak English well than if you don't. First of all, have KPIs. We are surprised to see that even large organizations don't have any KPIs against their training programs, so they can't measure. If you want to measure, obviously you need to have some kind of measuring tool, HR management technology in place, and then essentially and eventually you need to be able to actually analyze data. So HR and L&D need to be able to actually work with data from an HR management system. Some of the obvious KPIs are increased sales. So if we can prove that training results into increased sales, that's a strong point. Retention, workforce retention, less people leaving the company, strong KPI again. On the customer side, you want to know whether customers are happy. So customer surveys and the results of customer surveys are again a very essential part of the KPI set that you want to use. And then talent mobility within the organization is another very important indicator. People not leaving the company but actually moving through the lines and through the different job titles within your organization rather than going somewhere else. There are lots of different tactics and strategies to do this. You'd be surprised to see how much data companies actually collect. It's more or less a matter of collating the data against the KPIs that you actually define. There are lots of strategies, but I have 5 tips for this process. First of all, you need to define KPIs for the organization. Break these down into expectations at individual employee level. And don't start with too many KPIs, just start with 3 or 4 and take it from there. Align KPIs with the management performance review process so that the success of training and development may be measured against performance requirements. Managers can play a key part here, and it may be an idea to incentivize them to coach employees in the skills required, as well as to provide formal training. And then, of course, don't do everything on your own. Get some feedback from your employees. Set up a questionnaire, set up some survey, use SurveyMonkey, any kind of technology that will help you to tap into the wisdom of your employees. And if you're in a multinational organization, include language and communication skills training. This will help you to underpin developing the business in new territories across the world. The ability to make sales in new territories will provide a direct return on investment in the language skills required to operate there. And finally, create a proactive culture of employee development in your organization. Because only if employees can see what is in it for them, they are likely to be far more engaged with training and development activities. You can only manage what you measure. So again, set up a couple of KPIs, not too many. Work with those KPIs, adapt them and make them really work for your organization, because there's no KPI set that you can get from a book. Make them work for yourself. This kind of strategy obviously will help you to stay ahead of the curve in a competitive job market where everyone's fighting for the same talents.